Still crying the same tears. From Emmett to Nolan, how many more years? Copper blood in these waters, Most High see us here. Peace be still, but the truth gonna appear. Emmett Till, young boy whistling in the store. White lies turned to lynch and dragged him from the door. Beaten, shot river, swallowed him whole. Open casket, mama showed the world his soul. Nolan Wells, 18, boat ride on the 4th. Only black in the circle, now they say he drowned for. Horn Island whispers, friends came back without him. Mississippi history, still hunting, still doubting. Same state, same pain, different name. Black boy lost in the Delta rain. When will it change? Lord, when will it change? Ancestors screaming, we never left this stage. 1955, Chicago boy down south for the summer breeze. Money, Mississippi, wrong place for a black team to breathe. Brian Stoll, maybe a whistle, maybe just a smile. Jim Crow cold broken, now they coming in the night. Wild Roy and Malone snatched him from his uncle's floor. Tortured that baby, fanti round, body in the Tallahatchie roar. Mutilated face, mama said let the world see. Acquitted by all white jury, not guilty, set him free. Sparked the movement, Montgomery rose from the flames. But the Delta dirt still holding black boys' names. Emmett was 14, just a child in his prime, lynched for existing in a twisted mind. Emmett Till, Nolan Wells, Delta shadows ringing bells. Black life cheap in these haunted lands. Most High coming with justice in his hands. 2026 July 4th, independence gone wrong. Broke the Horn Island with the crew, singing freedom songs. 18 years young, big heart, only copper in the mix. Friends white as the judge that let killers walk in. 55 disappeared that day, body found on the shore 2 nights later. They say drowning, no foul play, but the family know better. Questions swimming deeper than the Gulf water's cold. Why leave your phone? Why the silence from the foe? Mississippi again, history echoing loud. Ben Crump calling for truth, independent, autopsy proud. Was it accident or the past rising from the mud? Black boy with white friends, trust issues in our blood.
Why the same soil claim my sons? Ancestor never left, we still the chosen one.
From Till's open casket to Nolan's unanswered call. In time signs, Leviathan rising, watch the fall. No hate, just black love, we hold each other tight. But stop crashing out on each other and demand what's right.
Peace be still,
Through the storm we prevail,
Father's child.
we shall not fail. Both in Mississippi, Delta's cruel embrace. One lynched open, one body lost without a trace. Emmett's killers brag after the verdict came. Nolan's story fog in speculation and shame. 14 or 18, young kings taken too soon. Waters claim the bodies, but the spirit touched the moon. Same fear, same doubt, same racist undercurrent flow. But we wiser now, cameras, voices won't let go. Indigenous copper, mountain builder stand tall. We walk together, ancestors answer the call. No more silent nights, no more cover graves. Justice for Emmett, justice for Nolan. Raise the blade.
Emmett Till, Nolan Wells.
Hell no!
Emmett Till, Nolan
But our spirit never failed. We got black love revolution now. Most High know my heart, make it right somehow.
Peace be still,
Peace be still. From Till to West, the story's still real. Let the world see, let the truth be free. Let the world see, let the world see. Let the truth be free.
All right. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Queen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, beloved. Okay, so hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Shakur, and this is your Saturday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, and with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to make Greta a moderator. Okay, now. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Let me see who else in here.
I love your graphic with Officer Tatum.
Thank you. I figured you would.
He is such he's such an awful human being, like, and so predictable. Like I just can't stand, like, you know, people like him. I won't say the word, but the hat says it all.
A raccoon, the hat says it all. Hold on, beloved. Hold on. Hey, Queen Shay, Chris B, DJ, The Truth TV, Quiet Storm, Greta Lee, Pittsburgh MC. Greta, I hope you didn't mind me making you a moderator. I took it upon myself, okay, because the chief moderator asked me to. Okay, so with that all being said, Space Gate is here. Okay, Reggie. Let's get into it. Lillian X, Pretty Wings, Dario. Okay. Not about Brittany. Hello, beloved. Hey, True Blessings. All right. Yaki. I hope I said your name right. Okay, so anyway, Lieutenant Muxua and Infinite Vibe. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Hey, Glenn, before we do, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes, and then we'll get into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, don't forget, let me take this off the screen. Just have me and Sam up here. Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so
and I'm sending this to my audience too.
Okay, great. Okay, is that why it's on her twice? Because I'm like, why are we on her?
Is it what?
See it on my side. No, I was just saying I could see it twice. I could see it like the big screen and then on my side on my little screen.
Yeah,
that's probably because you're streaming it.
That's what my StreamYard, I don't know if yours does that also, but I stream it vertical and landscape mode.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just do one. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's cool. Okay, so Sam, listen, I saw your video when you were saying about Officer Tatum. And so let me go to that video. Okay, because I just happened to see it and I thought, wow, that was interesting. And that lady was acting like a whole Karen the way she was talking over the other lady, Teslin. Okay, here we go. Everybody hit that like button. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you in advance.
Of Nolan Wells and the continued unanswered questions. Yesterday, we told you about newly released audio that the boat Wells was on broke down and needed assistance. That call came in around 4:30 p.m. And while, according to the Wells family and their attorney, Ben Crump, the teen was last seen on the island around 3 p.m. And they insist that they don't believe their son would intentionally stay behind on his own. Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, turned to social media and shared video of how she's dealing with the loss of her son. Watch.
This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable. And then it's like you get these flood of emotions all at different times, and grief is so multi-layered. You know, 1 second I might be okay and I can talk about things and I can listen to his stories. And then the next minute I am falling apart and I feel like I can't breathe. And I feel like there is an elephant just sitting on my chest.
ChatGPT, what's the best high-income skill to learn in 2026?
You can make 6 figures through Airbnb co-listing.
Just absolutely heartbreaking for the family. We hope we can get them some answers too. Joining me now and soon. Joining me now is Revolt News Chief Political Correspondent Teslin Figaro and former police officer and host of the Officer Tatum show.
Okay, listen, let me tell you all something. I just watched this interview. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention to something. As soon as I saw Officer Tatum on here, I removed the like that I had just given them. Okay, because I already knew where it was going as soon as I saw him. They use people like him to paint a narrative, okay, rather than them saying it so they don't come off as racist or anything or biased. They get someone like him to do it, okay? And I'll let Sam talk more about that after this video. But also, I want you all to pay attention to how the reporter, how she basically allows Tatum to speak over Teslin, and then when Teslin starts talking, she cuts her off and tells her to let him finish. Okay, please pay attention.
They gang up on Teslin in the video.
Yes, and you know what? As soon as I saw him, I knew that's what it was going to be.
Yep, that's why they bring him on. He's the Neo for racists, you know.
Right.
He's the one.
Exactly. Definitely.
Great to see both of you. Thanks for being here. So, Brandon, let's start with you. Just from a law enforcement perspective, what do you make of the timeline, the lack of answers, what maybe occurred here?
Well, I think the first thing is that these activists came in and brought in information or lies about circumstances to make people question. The law enforcement officers have already done an autopsy. They've already investigated. There's no sign of foul play. And one thing that's very interesting that I just found out recently is that it wasn't a situation where you have Nolan Wells and 4 of the kids at an island. There's thousands of people there. There's hundreds of different boats. So him staying behind while some of his other friends went back to the mainland wasn't that suspicious. I really wish that the family would focus on Nolan Wells' life, focus on the investigation, and let the police do their job instead of interjecting race into this situation. And it's completely unnecessary to be there at this point.
So, Teslin, you've worked with Ben Crump. You have valuable insight into how he operates. You're not speaking for him tonight, but what do you think about the timeline and whether it determines whether Nolan was still alive before the boat left the island, like his friends insist?
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I'm speaking as a mom, of a 19-year-old. In the same way Officer Tatum wishes that people would not insert lies, I wish Officer Tatum would allow the independent investigation, to run its course. You don't know, Mr. Tatum, what has been talked about in this investigation. It has not been complete, and people have not came forward to say what happened with Nolan Wells. So I actually do believe his parents when they said that they taught their son to leave with whoever you came with. So for you to make the accusations that is a lie, when they're burying their son on Monday, is quite frankly to be disgusting, Officer Tatum.
Well,
and I'm ashamed.
You know what's funny? I hope that you're paying attention to this, because there's a lot of information that.
Now, take note that he just cut her off. He literally just cut her off. She was still talking, and the host didn't say anything. But let's continue.
Come out, and I've gotten firsthand knowledge about some things that have happened on that island, and people are going to be ashamed of themselves for sitting here lying and pushing racism in this circumstance. I don't know what happened, but I do know. I'll let you finish. I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying I got firsthand knowledge too. But as we're talking about right now, as we're talking about right now, you made the accusation that there were lies, that race has been interjected. Like I said last week, if people don't want people to speculate, then investigate. So this.
Well, that was true. Brandon, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that topic, because Ben Crump is.
Oh, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep stopping, but did you notice how she said, Brandon, let's talk about that? Okay, right. When Teslin was talking, you see how she did that, Sam?
Oh, yeah, and she's about to then go in on how Ben Crump is notorious for, she's going to say, being a race baiter and all this crap. I mean, they basically set Tez up like it's 2 against 1 in this thing. And like this Karen interviewer is so obnoxious because you see her motive and her narrative like on her forehead. Like, and I've said this in my videos, white racist people love black people who will stick up for white racist talking points. Yes, they love, he makes all of his money on fostering and comforting white fragility. And it's the same as the Hodge twins. It's the same as like Candace Owens did. I'm sure there's a bunch of others that people could name, but I say, like, these are not, you know, if you go to Officer Tatum's like Facebook and his posts, it's all white people being comforted. They're all like, oh yeah, we're not all racist, thanks. Yeah, they're just race baiters. He is just comforting white fragility. He's like tucking the white racist into bed. And he's like, you're not racist. I'm a black guy and I'll validate it for you. And it's, you know, obviously, you know, the old saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And he's an exact example of this. He is making money off playing a part that he knows white racists, instead of accepting racism and history in our country, they will only point to one black person. Like if you have one black person saying this and then thousands of others disagreeing or nobody black in his comments, they will still come back to him instead of like facing the truth in history.
Exactly, because he's painting their narrative for them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Notorious and has been criticized by people who have used him in the past for their cases of being an ambulance chaser, pushing a narrative that fits the racial lens that he wants it to. You've talked about this on your podcast and how you believe young black men are unfortunately killed every single day. And people like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton just highlight certain stories that benefit them rather than the families.
Now, let me say this to that. That's where she said, without saying, black on black crime is what y'all don't talk about.
Exactly. And mind you, Queen, if Martin Luther King was still alive today, had these racists not killed him, they would be talking about Martin Luther King just like they are Al Sharpton, just like they do. They always, throughout history, and you know this, have discredited black activists who are just doing it for this or just doing it for that. And it's important for a lot of white people to understand. A lot of them, the problem is like the validation from Martin Luther King to say Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, you know, rest in peace. It's still the same. You know what I mean? They would have just, if he was still alive, MLK, they would be putting him right next to this. And I just think it's pathetic how she leads into this. And you notice she doesn't lean on the woman who is like pro-black. She leans on her racist crutch, who she knows is going to back her racist narrative.
Exactly.
Hey, have you been researching dental implants? Did you know you can now get permanent teeth in just 24 hours?
Well, let's keep it real. This is all about money. Benjamin Crump would never show up to a kid's funeral or say anything about a kid that's killed by another black kid. But if there's an opportunity to interject racism into a situation where there's no evidence of racism, Benjamin Crump will be there to do it. What is his end goal? He's not a criminal attorney. So he's not going to help the family get justice on a criminal level. He's a civil rights attorney. You don't need a civil rights attorney in a case where you're wondering if the investigation is going right for your son, unless you believe this has something to do with racism.
Let him finish and then I'll let you talk, okay? Let him finish his point and then I'll let you respond.
He's going on a diatribe. So
no, he's not. He's speaking and I'll let you respond as soon as he's done making his point.
Katie, I'll let the young lady go. Go ahead. I would love to hear what you got to say to that.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, Officer Tatum. Thank you. Well, let's just once again, speaking about things that you don't know about. Katie, you set it up with talking about Ben Crump being notorious for race baiting. I could name a couple of things that Officer Tatum here is also notorious for. So let's be careful on how we
don't need these personal attacks.
I'm gonna finish.
Do you see it? She allows the personal attacks.
And let me also correct you on
but
something
not him.
else, Mr. Tatum. When you said Ben Crump would never show up for a black kid that was murdered by a black kid. My cousin, Jordan Turner, who was 19 and was murdered by another black kid that also went away with his friends and never returned home, guess who showed up? Attorney Benjamin Crump. I know you're looking confused. See, this is why it's important that you
was that related to black people? There was black people involved in his death?
Yep.
Again, she let her cut him off and didn't say a word. And watch her take his side.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, that's
And they were
one.
convicted, and they were
That's one
convicted.
thing.
And we didn't hear about it
And they were
plastered all over the
convicted of
media.
murder.
That's a
So
big
see,
difference.
this is why you don't know. This is why you should speak of what you know and not what you heard. So again, when it comes down to Nolan Wells, I ask that we use this time to ask people to come forward and speak about what they know. The young man
Sure.
did not come home, Brandon. He didn't come home. So let's use this time instead of focusing on what people are saying in the comments. Let's continue to stay in.
Brandon, I
and
mean,
uplift this
Ben
mother
Crump is the
that's
one
burying
making
her-
this
that's
a
burying-
conversation in
that's
the
burying
media.
her
This is
child on
Ben
Monday.
Crump is
It's
the
rape
one making
involving-
this a conversation in the media. He's the one pushing this out there. So
No, that's a damn lie. We were already saying that it was likely about race before Ben Crump even got involved. We
Exactly.
automatically thought that.
And I
Didn't
was
you
saying
think that
too, Queen,
automatically, Sam?
and what a lot of people don't understand is, and I made a video about this, let's say hypothetically, whatever happened to Nolan, RIP, had nothing to do with race. The way the system handles it, the way this woman, this white woman is talking makes it about race, because you can see her prerogative and her preference in allowing Officer Tatum to spew his racist talking points and defend him. The system makes it racist because they have not released the autopsy yet, or they're saying, hey, don't rush us, or the privilege that the Judge Ashley Cole gets to have to protect her son, or the privilege that these white kids have to lawyer up instead of tell the truth and say what happened. That is so this could be about race. They could have gotten into an argument and it could have been, but I'm not even I can say that it potentially wasn't about race, but the fact is it's made about race in the way that our media and our justice system handles Black Americans. That's why it's about race.
Exactly. But here's the thing about him. Notice how he said Ben Crump would never show up if it was a Black kid killed by other Black kids or another Black kid. And then when she said that he did for her cousin, then he said, well, that's just one. Okay, but you just said there's none. You see how there's no winning with people like him with that mindset?
Right. And it's also, it's kind of like what I do. A lot of people are like, hey, Sam, why don't you report on a white kid being killed by a Black guy? That's happened before. And it's like, sure, that's happened. But my focus is in an underserved community. White people are not suffering at the hand of our justice system, but Black Americans are. So it's like, it kind of goes back to that all lives matter argument that people try to do. It's like, oh, of course, everybody's life matter, but we're worried about Black Americans right now. We're trying to handle that first, because white people are good. People who look like me, I'm good. You don't got to worry about me. You know what I mean? But I think like this host, this woman, these are obviously people who don't have any real Black relationships. And if they did, they wouldn't be speaking like this. And she would be leaning on, what's her name? Teslin. Yeah, Teslin. Sorry. She would be leaning towards Teslin instead of Officer Tatum. But that's just what these white people do. That's why we need critical race theory. That's why we need history taught in all of our classes, and that white people should have to go into all Black spaces so they quit continuing this racist narrative.
Exactly. Okay, now, Nisi, thank you for your contribution and your insight to the topic. Says Ben Crump was there in Shanquella Robinson's case. Exactly. Now, Julius wants to know, why hasn't the independent autopsy been released? Well, beloved, you should be asking why the Ocean Springs autopsy has not been released, because they did theirs first. Benjamin Crump does not need to release the independent autopsy only until they release theirs first. And I think they're trying to stall and wait for him to release his first, which I hope he doesn't do, so they can change theirs, because everybody already knows about that nefarious medical examiner down there, right?
Right. What's her name? Stacy something. I was going to make a video on her.
I want to say Spencer or something. Yeah, but she's done a bunch of unethical things, specifically as it pertains to Black folk who were turned up dead when they were with their white tea friends. Okay, please pay attention. I said white tea because I'm thinking I'm on TikTok.
People do
no, there's
a investigation.
Stacy Turner.
Okay, that's her. I knew it was Stacy something.
Yeah, Stacy Turner, and there was a kid named Shannon Wilson. who she ruled it, it was a drowning. So she has a history of doing stuff like this. It said, I'll read this. It said an incident took place in Mississippi, not too far from Ocean Springs, where Nolan Wells happened. He was, it says, I think 13 at the time. It happened on May 8th, 2022, Mother's Day. He went to the creek with some of his friends. They pushed him in a creek and watched him drown and ran away and called the parents first before they called the police, and nothing was ever done about it. The police department marked it as an accidental drowning before even completing an investigation. The medical examiner, Stacy Turner, told me and my mother that Harrison County autopsies that it was an accidental drowning. So this woman has a history of doing this.
Right, exactly. And she embalmed someone's child too without their consent. And then there was no way for them to prove whether or not it was something, nefarious with this.
And it's kind of like a show me yours and I'll show you mine kind of situation, where they obviously, the independent one, it makes sense it hasn't come out yet because that had to be paid for, that had to be set up. But there's no reason that Mississippi should not have their autopsy done. But like you said, they're waiting because they want it to they want to make sure that theirs is not so completely different.
Exactly. Now, Julia says, who cares who releases first? We want to know what happened. The F. Well, we do want to know what happened. But like I said, if you want to know why one hasn't been released, you should first be concerned about the first ones who did theirs. Because what's their hold up?
Let them play out. But Brandon, I want to ask you this question. Teslin, 1 second. Brandon, there's been a lot of accusation and pushing that Nolan Wells' white friends have not been questioned enough, as if they were somehow responsible for his death based on race. That seems like a highly irresponsible narrative to be pushing, especially when we don't know all of the facts yet.
100%. It is a flat out lie. The police department isn't doing their investigation. They're doing it fair and properly. Benjamin Crump cannot come out right now and say that the investigation isn't going like it should. They're interjecting race into something that has nothing to do with race. These boys were friends. The coach came out, who happened to be a black man, that said he don't believe race is a factor. These boys grew up together. These boys go to school together.
Hey,
this
Queen,
is a tragic situation.
Yeah.
Can you stop that right there? Did you see what they just did again? They had the assistant coach who was a black man, and he even said, do you see how they lean on that? The assistant coach said it's not about race. He said this isn't a racist all-white high school. It's just like pawns in a chess game being used. They didn't let the white coach, the head coach, speak, who should have. They didn't let the white principal speak. That's what news, we love to do that in the news. When it's something dealing with race, we always have somebody black covering the story or somebody black to validate it, so it doesn't have to be about race.
And you know what that is? It's so funny because they'll say that we are playing the race card, but that's playing the race card.
Exactly.
When you have to specify, because why couldn't he just say, oh, the coach said so-and-so, but he specified that it was a black coach, as if to say, because here's the thing. Any other time when a black person says something, Tatum does not care what they said. He doesn't agree with it 9 times out of 10. Only if it's a black person who's doing the same thing he's doing, which is being a whole raccoon, or saying something that is in agreement with what he says, his narrative. And then, now he takes their word at it. But any other time, he doesn't take their word. But hold on, Sam, before we go back to it, and I'm going to let it just ride out because we only have like a minute and a half left. But I think you should know, could you please do something about this person in your chat? Because I tried to block them, but they're in your chat. Their name is EKDC, like EKDC.
Oh yeah, I saw him. Secret Service Sam is worthless. Okay, thank you so much. You want me to block him out?
Please block him because he said F you and he spelled out the word. I don't allow that kind of language in my chat.
Got it.
He said
F-U-C-K. Hey, EKDC, right back at you. Blocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
I let what it is, and that's a tragedy.
Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I let these haters say what they want because I like to let people see them. But yeah, you're right. I blocked them. So
yeah, certain words.
I didn't know that was coming from mine. I saw him, but I didn't realize it. Yeah,
I didn't either. I tried to block him, and then that's what it showed me.
Yeah,
that's the investigation unfold. Benjamin Crump they're already out saying this has something to do with race because the boy was with white guys. That
They were
is
describing it.
asinine.
Just like you
That is
describe it when
shameful to start
just
that.
like you describe it when you talk about black on black crime constantly. So what a black man, a young black boy went with his white friends and didn't come back. So why are you not asking the white children to speak up? Nobody saw nothing, Brandon.
They are speaking. They are speaking.
That he didn't come home.
All right, we gotta run.
White got to do anything.
We gotta run.
Look how she was low-key, the host. Look how she was low-key co-signing everything he said. They are speaking. They are speaking. Well, it was Benjamin Crump. She was interrupting Teslin so she can confirm or agree with what he said. She is so rude and biased, and it's so obvious. And let me just say this. As soon as they started speaking, I was watching her face the entire time Teslin was speaking in the beginning, and it was nothing but a look of contempt. And now she's like, we gotta go. We gotta go. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
We hope that the family can get some answers because a young man is dead and we want his family to have closure. Teslin Ferraro and Brandon Tatum, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Queen, I would love to go on that show.
Okay. Here's the thing. I wouldn't want to go on there with Brandon Tatum. Well, maybe I would.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind it. See, the problem is, as a white person, they like to try to shut me down because white people like this hate to hear me talk in the way that I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I would love that opportunity to go up and just call this woman out. You know what I mean? Like she fully ganged up on Teslin and you know, but this is why, instead of confronting, like she said, they want to make it about race, but you know, the boys made it about race, like I said, when they didn't say anything. It made it suspicious. People didn't come after them just because they were white. They came after them because they shut their social media accounts down. They said nothing and they lawyered up. And that is some white trash behavior. You know what I mean? That's when people make it. That's when it becomes about race, is when they shut everything down. And like I said, they make it about race when then they start to use the system to their benefit. Don't say anything, guys. Like if they aren't guilty and it was an accidental drowning, why would they shut down? Why wouldn't they just be posting pictures of him with music and beautiful tributes to him?
Right.
Why did they have to quiet down and lawyer up? Because something obviously happened.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm gonna go to your video, Sam, because I've been telling people how you can change the metadata on the pictures.
Yes,
if
the
you
picture.
have the
I just
original
did that.
picture.
I just did that today. Yeah, I was like, oh, I had never done it, but I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the one I'm about to go to. I had a couple of your videos. One of them I don't have to show because you just said it. It was the video you said when you were talking about Officer Tatum.
Right.
Okay, so is it the one that you titled, because I have two of them, is it the one you titled Nolan Xavier Wells, very easy to adjust photo date?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So let me go to that. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Secret Service Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update, and I just wanted to show you how easy it is to adjust a photo. Now, as you can see here, I took a selfie photo, thumbs up, then you scroll it up, hit adjust, and then I changed it to July 4th, right? And then I changed the time to 11:11, kissed the clock, and then just saved it. So it goes to show you how easy it is to change the look on the photo to cover your footsteps. Now, I'm not saying the pool party didn't take place on June 27th or whenever they did, and the guy who had USA shaved in his chest. I feel like you're more likely to shave USA in your chest for America's 250th birthday over our OK World Cup team. But hey, I could be wrong about this, but the fact is that pool photo and any other photo, it is very easy to manipulate the date. But I'm sure investigators have a way you can go in, revert the date back to the original. So investigators can probably tell the original metadata. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for Prez of the world.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
Glad you showed that.
It's just hard with this whole thing. I mean, I keep coming back to and telling people it's a mother's intuition. If nothing nefarious happened. If it was an accidental drowning, we wouldn't be talking about this anymore. The autopsy would have been released right away. These racists in Mississippi want nothing more for this to be an accidental drowning. The last thing they want is to rehash their racist history. And it just goes to show, if it was accidental, we would have known about this last week. It would have been over with.
Exactly. And now with that being said, let me say this also. His mom, Nolan's mom, left a post about the funeral.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to that. And then we're going to go to that video where you talked about the Nolan being seen possibly on a boat.
Yeah, that's interesting to me too. Now, of course, I got some hate mail from some guy saying, I know the guy who owns that boat, and that's not Nolan on there, and it's my friend's boat. And, you know, so it's hard for me because, like, I saw that with another video, and I'm like, that does look like him.
Well, it
But
does
a
look
lot
like the same shorts.
Yeah, it
And
is.
his
And the
body
hard part is,
type.
like, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's life. I'm not trying to do anything. But again, if these kids had come forward with this information, they wouldn't have all these people out here speculating.
And that's what I said, Sam. Now, hold on. Vice Vance says, does Secret Service Sam have a YouTube channel? Yes, it is Secret Service Sam.
Exactly.
Okay?
All my socials are at Secret Service Sam.
Yeah, you all make sure you follow him. Now, here's what Nolan's mom said about the funeral. She says, if you plan to attend Nolan's funeral in hopes that you're going to meet someone famous, stay home. She put that in all caps. We do not want that type of energy. We do not need fake love and support. His celebration of life is for family, friends, and teammates. Now, let me tell you why she likely said that, because some people foolishly, and even some people that look like me, have been going in on this poor woman and saying that she's not crying. She doesn't seem like she's upset. She doesn't seem to be grieving. And I told people days ago that maybe Till Mobley, Emmett Till's mother, did the same thing. We never saw her crying in any of the videos where she was speaking. The only time they show her crying was at her son's funeral. She had to be strong to try to get justice, even though sadly she never got any. And that's, to me, what Christine is doing. So some people, they will absolutely show up just for that because they're opportunists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's go to this video about this boat because I thought this was interesting. Okay, I thought this was very interesting. Now, again, we don't know if this is Nolan, but we need to examine all avenues.
Xavier Wells update. And official We Are Humans 2, an excellent creator, posted a video that he found that he said wasn't getting a lot of attention. And he believes it to be another video of Nolan on the boat. Now, here is the still from the boat that you can see, and here is some of the video. I put this into ChatGPT because internet, and all you internet sleuth, do your thing. We can see the second word daddy on the boat. Now, I had ChatGPT sharpen this up for me, and this looks to be Nolan on this boat. It looks like his blue shorts. You can see his blue shorts here, and then look at the original boat picture. They look to be the same shorts that are in this picture from this newly found video as are in the original boat pictures. What do you guys think about this? Now, internet sleuths, go do your thing. Is there any other pictures of the boat that they were on? Can we show that this was the Lil Daddy, or does anybody have any idea what the boat name could be? It looks like a 3-letter word before daddy. And you know, most boat names, it's always like a cute little pun or something. So guys, do your work. Let me know what you think. And we need to lift up all creators because we're all trying to get to the same thing, and that's justice for Nolan Xavier Wells. I will always expose the secrets behind the headlines on the front lines for you guys. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world. And what's interesting, Queen, getting back to Stacey Turner, is she ruled, and this guy hit me in the comments, and he's like, Sam, you were spewing the same BS about Trey Reed, who was found hanging at the Delta State College campus, if you remember. She ruled his death unaliving. And, you know, so it's kind of crazy to think like, and again, this is what makes it about race. When you have the DA, the governor, the sheriff, the autopsy, you know, the examiner, like they're all in bed together to not get justice, or they're all in bed together to get justice. If this was somebody white, she'd be like, oh no, if it was killed by somebody black, they would have had this autopsy, and the white people would be like, this is not, they would not be saying, oh, the mom's raising money on GoFundMe, this is opportunistic. Like, they wouldn't be. There was actually a girl named Audrey something, who she had died, and the whole in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and this kid was talking about the whole community backed the mother, backed her GoFundMe.
I reported that the other day.
Yeah, there was a song they made on American Idol dedicated to her. Everything, they threw the kitchen sink at supporting this girl, as they should. And they point out that when Nolan Wells' family, when Christine Walmsley and them have a GoFundMe, or they're trying to get national attention, or you see, she just got a disgusting, like, somebody sent her in the mail. It's I'll show you this picture I took of Al Sharpton and Ben Crump, like, with money signs next to it, and they actually sent her this in the mail, and it's just it's so sad. Wow. Like, and this is why it's about race.
Exactly.
And this poor woman has to get stuff like that in the mail from these racist cowards. And I guarantee you that white woman, when her daughter died, nobody, it's just that's what makes it about race, is in the way we support these cases.
Right, exactly. And how the police handle them also. Okay, so now with that all being said, the guy Jared Jackson that I reported on, now this guy was found in a tree, Sam. I think you heard about this. This was the guy that went to the music festival, remember?
Yeah.
His name was Jared J. Jackson. Okay, this happened in Michigan, right? So now check this out. This report says, we don't need to hear from him. White friend tries to clear his name after Black Illinois man's death at music festival. Family remains skeptical. Okay, so it says, new details are coming to light as friends of Jared J. Jackson and Michigan State Police open up about what happened to the 28-year-old. Jackson was found dead on June 30th. The coroner told his family he was found hanging from a tree in the woods. Now, he was in Roxbury, Michigan for Electric Forest, a popular summer music festival. So they say Michigan State Police said Jackson left the festival at 10 a.m. Troopers had been out there earlier that morning after Jackson reported an alleged criminal incident involving a friend. Now, the investigators spoke with Atlanta Black Star and clarified that no crime was committed. Now, an officer said he called the cops on himself because Jackson believed he had committed a crime. His friends and investigators all assured him he had not. That's interesting, because they didn't say that part before, that he committed the crime or called it on himself. It sounded like before that they were saying he called it because maybe somebody committed a crime on him.
Yeah, it was something like he called the police, they came, and nothing happened. And then
so now they're saying, who lost the police on themselves? Where is this all coming from? Because that's what they're now saying.
And I mean, I think it's, and most people, I don't obviously have to tell you this or your audience, but like anytime somebody Black shows up hanging, it's always, because of American history, is going to be suspicious.
Exactly. Okay. And who's going to do that? First of all, people don't do that publicly. 9 times out of 10, you want to take your own stuff out. They usually do it in private, not publicly. Okay.
Exactly.
And so then it goes on to say that an officer said he called the cops on himself, which I think is crazy. They say our reporter asked the investigator how he knew it was self-deletion. The investigator said it looked like that, so that's why I said it appeared to be self-deletion. Okay, so then they said the investigator highlighted that the cause of death is still under investigation. Now, Jackson's friend Connor Prettyman posted in the music festival group chat that morning asking if anyone had seen Jackson. Prettyman wrote in the post that he was concerned about his friend because he was having a mental health crisis. He seemed very down on himself and had distanced himself from the rest of the group and the rental truck. Now, we each took turns having conversations with him in order to cheer him up. Now they're trying to make like he was so distraught, but if he was so distraught,
right. And again, like you said, people don't do that in a public place. That's something they'll do at their home or whatnot. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of like Kendrick Johnson, the kid who was in the wrestling mats. The first autopsy said no foul play. The second autopsy, the independent one, showed that all of his organs had been removed and replaced with crumpled up newspaper. So it's just like, there's a reason we have independent autopsies, and there's a reason why we don't trust the system. You know, because the 2 kids who were involved with that were sons of an FBI agent. So already you're like, your spidey senses are like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Now, they say when Connor was putting those types of things in his post and saying that he had a mental health crisis, that he was reporting crimes. Okay, Neil, they say, well, what crime was he reporting that didn't happen? And why don't you just say we were getting high? Now, Jackson's group of friends was known to be into serious rugs, illegal substances. That's why we didn't want him to go, Sean Phillips, Jackson's stepfather, said. Okay, so out of respect for Jared, I had removed a few details in the original post I had made that weren't relevant to the search. This is what Prettyman says. I was the only person who was asleep when he drove off. He says Neil also accused Prettyman of covering up the fact that he and her nephew were doing illegal substances. Now, the reason I stated in my original post that he was potentially going through a mental health crisis was because that entire day he was not acting like himself. He was always the most social out of everyone. Now, Prettyman agreed he'd be willing to speak with Jackson's family about what happened, but Jackson's stepfather, Sean Phillips, said now is not the time. He said, we don't need to hear from him. He added that Jackson's mother is absolutely heartbroken over the death of her son. And so Phillips explained that Prettyman was a part of a group of friends who were not good influences on Jackson. Prettyman confirmed that Jackson was doing illegal substances that weekend. So this is what the guy is saying, that he was doing substances. They say,
what does that have to do with him? You know, it's just crazy.
Right. Now, it was unclear what substances Jared had taken on his own, as he had mostly isolated himself for the entire day. This is what he says. And so the official autopsy report has not been released. And so I find that interesting, because here's the thing. He's not here to tell us his side of the story, so we don't know if he was doing illegal substances or not. That will, however, come out in the toxicology report. But I just find it interesting that all of a sudden now they're saying he called the police on himself, unless he took something that he never took before and was having some sort of trip off of it. But I still don't think that would cause you to take yourself up out of here. I don't know.
No,
it just
not
sounds
at
like
all.
a bunch of BS.
And again, like you're not going to do that at a music festival. You know what I mean? Like that's how do you even do? You know what I mean? Like it's just not that easy to do something like that. Sorry, I was just making sure I blocked that EKDC page guy, and I was going through
he's blocked.
erasing
I
all of his
saw
comments, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So Natural Empress says, shout out. Hold on for a second, Sam. Sure. Natural Empress says, shout out to you, Queen. You're a voice for the voiceless. Positive vibrations to Nolan's family. Shout out to your tribe who rocks with you here on YouTube. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let me say this. Let's say this also. So, Sam, what do you think about the situation with the boat being in the proximity when they called for help, when they said it was getting water? What do you think about it being in the proximity to where his body was found days later?
Well, I just think, and real quick, somebody said, y'all don't read the comments. I've told y'all this is the 3rd Black person to die like this in Ocean Springs. So there's a reason why people are skeptical about this. And that's what I was saying too. The fact the body was found, Nolan was found where the boat arrived and where it took off. And somebody has pointed out to me, like a fisherman is like, there's a tide it's not just going to stay there. And also if it was an accidental drowning, where they're all hanging out on Horn Island, you're standing, it's like a sandbar. So you're up to almost like your ankles or your knees, depending on how tall you are. So he would have had to have walked so far out to be in a position where he could drown. And also they said he was a good swimmer, I believe. So it just doesn't, you know, it's almost like this new kid, Daniel Irving, who went fishing with this Lucas Roper, this white kid, and ended up dead. And this kid was a valedictorian and on the swim team and drowned. So you're just like, come on, man. And thankfully Lucas was arrested. He like threw his cell phone in the water and his clothes and all that stuff. And because he didn't want any erased messages, because he didn't want to get in trouble while, you know, and so it's just the same kind of thing. you know, people push on this stereotype that Black people don't know how to swim. So then when white racist people hear accidental drowning, they're like, of course.
Right, exactly. As if these things don't happen far too much to just simply be accidents. Okay.
Of course.
Now, for the person in the chat who said there's been 3 of these incidents down there in Ocean Springs, I absolutely believe it because I've reported on about 5 of them. Okay, just in the past 2 months. Okay, I'll tell you some of the names. First off, there was 2 that I reported just this morning. Okay, there was 2. One of them was Timothy Mazunga Magambo, May the 16th. I'm sorry, May the 16th of 2026. Then there was Chad Lakeith Pittman, and Magambo was in New York. And then Chad Pittman was in Quitman, Mississippi. Okay, Chad Lakeith Pittman, he was 18 years old. Both of them were 18 years old. And then just days ago, I reported Dion Walton, who was, I forgot where he was, but anyway, he was 17. And then there was a couple of more. There was a little girl who was 11 years old. She was out with a Karen neighbor, and Karen didn't even call the police and to report it. And then there was at least 2 more. Okay.
Yeah, and then
There's at least 2 more.
And then somebody in the comments is saying, did anyone see the video of the nurses who said that Nolan Wells' body was face down? Because they had talked to the person who had seen this. And some guy had sent me, he's like a fisherman and familiar with boats. And he said some boats are big enough where they could have put his body inside where the engine well is. And that could have caused burns and also caused the damage in hiding him. If that, that's all hypothetical and alleged. But, it's interesting to think that could be a reason why the body was, and again, they had to identify him by dental records. So something happened. I don't think his body would have just been that destroyed in that little a time.
Especially if it wasn't waterlogged.
Right.
That just didn't make sense to me. But so hold on. The other people was Joseph Posey Jr., 25 years old, died June the 27th of this year. Okay, in Beaumont, Texas, accidental drowning, supposedly. Okay, and then 18-year-old Daniel Irving, North Texas. Okay, and that guy Lucas, who you were just talking about, he was arrested for tampering with evidence, him and the minor, but not for his death. Okay, and this happened all the way back in April. We're only finding out about it now because of the July the 9th arrest of Lucas Roper and the other young man whose names they don't mention because he's a minor. And then the 11-year-old girl was in Oregon, Ohio. Her name is Angelique Cunningham. And that's the lady that she died July the 1st after going on a fishing trip with her neighbor, Karen, and never came back. And like I said, Karen didn't even bother to call the police. There was also a guy in the boat that supposedly drowned too.
Yeah, it's almost like when O.J. Simpson used to say, I'm not Black, I'm O.J. And Jay-Z's song is like, okay, but it is true. It's like, OJ was like that, where he'd say things like, I don't see color. And it's like, that's because, I always say, if white people could love Black people as much as they do famous athletes and entertainers, this would be a beautiful, harmonious country. But the fact is they don't. They don't love the average Black American. They like the entertainers, the athletes, they idolize them and they separate them. And so then these athletes, like somebody like OJ, is like, I'm not Black. It's like, of course you are, but you're getting treated so well because you're OJ, not because, you're just some regular person. And I think sometimes you don't understand that, you get lost in it.
Exactly. Start acting brand new.
It's kind of like Officer Tatum. All these white people are like, oh man, you're so good. I bet when he comes on, they're like, thank you for your service, man. Everything you're saying, you're so right on. And that fuels his racism.
And he makes money because they send him donations to keep up the good work. Okay, that's what they absolutely do. Now, hold on. One thing I want to say, because I like to give credit where it's due. So this morning I did a broadcast. I had a lot of receipts on the Klan activity down there, Sam. There's like 7 whole Klan groups down there in Mississippi. There were people passing out flyers and recruiting in Ocean Springs in 2016. Then come to find out the governor Tate Reeves wore blackface in college and then was at some Confederate, he was the keynote speaker at some Confederate thing. So
Shocker.
with that all being said, I want to say this. My cousin sent me this morning, or she called me this morning and said that she said that governor that you were saying was racist and how he didn't give condolences and all that.
Yeah,
And you're
Tate
talking about all this
Reeves.
Klan
Yeah.
activity. Right.
Mhm.
And she said, you know how you're giving all this talking about all the Klan activity. And I'm like, yeah, right. So she said some YouTuber named Rockstar or whatever, she said that he was talking about blackface, the governor wearing blackface. And I said, thanks, I'm going to look into it. So as soon as I typed in Governor Tate Reeves blackface, all this stuff pulled up. So I want to shout out whoever that YouTuber is. Does anyone know who it is? She said Rockstar, but I typed in Rockstar and I didn't see any YouTuber that had posted something about that. She may
I want
have
to
gotten the name
see
wrong.
Tate Reeves. In February 2019, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, then Lieutenant Governor, faced scrutiny after college yearbook photos emerged showing members of his Kappa Alpha Order fraternity at Millsaps College wearing blackface and Confederate attire. Shocker. And let's see, and here's the photo, folks.
Yeah, I showed it all this morning.
Oh, you did?
So
Okay, yeah, I
27
want to do
DD, thank you. They said it's introvert rock star. That name sounds familiar. I think one of you might have said that name in the chat before. Introvert rock star. Okay, thank you. Shout out to him because he was the first person to say something about that blackface. Okay.
Right. Tate Reeves speaks on blackface. Is this him? Is this the picture?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
How do we know that's him? I mean, it looks like him kind of, but.
Well, those pictures right there may not specifically be him. There was one that I showed that absolutely looked like him, but that's in his college yearbook. He already has basically said that it was him, that he did that. Yeah, I believe one of those is him, definitely, because here's the thing. His spokesperson or spokeswoman, she came out and said that, oh, he was in college and he was in some kind of fraternity, and they used to have some kind of thing. They would do a tradition where they would dress like the Confederate or whatever was going on. So that was their excuse for him having on blackface.
Yeah, it's a tradition to be racist.
Exactly.
We used to have this tradition we used to do called racism. I mean, it's so funny how they try to explain it away. You know what I mean? It's like, everybody makes mistakes, but there's a difference of when you're dressing up as a Confederate soldier or something like that. Like, it's like, please.
And here's the thing though, Sam. It's not like he isn't not still racist because he just did that thing in 2013 where he was a keynote speaker and standing behind him, hanging on the thing behind him was a huge Confederate flag. Now he did. He is the governor who in 2020 removed the Confederate emblem from the Mississippi flag, but I'm sure he didn't want to do it. That was probably something he promised to do so he could get elected. In my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, because he also named April, the month for heritage, Confederate heritage or something. He did a whole proclamation. I showed that this morning too. Okay, so now let's go to this People article. Attendees describe massive 4th of July party before Nolan Wells vanished and died. Okay, so this is from People's publication. It says Horn Island frequenters are recalling the conditions on the island on the 4th of July, the day that 18-year-old Nolan Wells disappeared. Now, Melissa Miller, who has visited the island for the past 10 summers, told NBC News that she noticed a lot more young people out there than normal during the bustling holiday party, which also included families, but she did not see Wells, whose death is currently being investigated by the Mississippi authorities and the FBI. So everyone seemed to be having a good time, she says. Wells, an 18-year-old community college student and football player, was reported missing on the evening of July the 4th after he had taken a boat with some friends and gone on to Horn Island, which is off the coast of Mississippi, for a party. Okay, the Jackson County Sheriff and some of his friends said they had opted to stay behind on the island without his phone, or he had opted to stay behind on the island without his phone, reportedly after meeting a young woman.
Right.
So his parents, however, have questioned that as out of character and potentially the sign that foul play was covered up. Go ahead,
It's out of character for anybody. Now, all the kids, like I be on DMs, like, y'all don't understand boat life. We leave our phone on the boat when we get into the water. That makes perfect sense to me. I get that. But then if you're planning on leaving and going on a different boat and not with that boat, you're going to go get all of your belongings. Like, hey, let me get all my stuff. and go. You're not going to just leave your phone behind. That's where people need to, like, they don't understand. Like, yes, that's normal to leave your stuff on so it doesn't get wet when you're hanging out and everybody's drinking in the water. I understand that. But it's the fact that when he's separated from them and supposedly went somewhere else, you're not going to leave your phone. It's just, you know, there's not one human alive today who's going to leave. You'd sooner leave a child behind than your smartphone, you know, like.
Exactly.
It's just, we're
Okay,
all
somebody
addicted to
said,
our phones.
exactly. You're definitely not going to leave it when you're out on an island where there's little to no reception and you don't know how you're going to get back. Okay,
Hell
somebody
no. What
says,
is this? What is this? Outcast?
okay,
Or Castaway, sorry.
Survivor. Somebody
Survivor,
says,
exactly.
to Queen, check out Wikipedia. What am I checking out on Wikipedia, beloved? What am I checking out on there? Hold on, let me finish this article really quick. Okay, so 2 days later, his body was found on the island's northwestern tip. Now, that was the same area Miller told NBC News that she had anchored her boat. She noted that while the water around the island is choppy, that area is particularly known for rougher water. She says, we had to rope our boats that we float in. We had to tie it to the boat on the 4th that day to keep us from getting sucked into the Gulf. Now, a charter boat operator who declined to be identified by NBC News also agreed that the current surrounding around Horn Island tends to be awful and can change in a heartbeat, adding that the waters on July 4th were calm until around 4 p.m. when his son had difficulty making it back to his boat because of the strong currents. He said even the strongest swimmers can struggle to swim in the area if the seas are turbulent, saying that I know people that have grown up out there that have died out there. It'll humble you very quick. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. Those currents can get you. And before you even realize you're in trouble, you're gone. Okay, so now here's the thing. Hold on. The sheriff initially indicated that they didn't see any signs of foul play. Thus, it seemed that Wells had drowned. An official autopsy and outside autopsy are pending, including a toxicology report. The medical examiner has declined to share more information with people, saying they will not speculate in lieu of official findings. Wells' parents said that their son was a good swimmer, and they believe that something more nefarious could have happened to him. They have wondered if something did go wrong, then why did none of the numerous other people there on the island do something? And if he's drowning, nobody saw him drown, nobody offers assistance, nobody tries to help. That's what Ben Crump said last week.
I understand about a rip current fully. I've been in a rip current, but the fact is there was so many people around, somebody would have seen it happen. And let's just assume he got swept off in a rip current. Why would they deactivate all of their social media accounts? Like, if there was nothing to hide and he really drowned, why would they lawyer up? Like, oh, everybody's going to assume we did it. Why? Right. You know, it's just, that's the part that it makes no sense at all.
But what about this, Sam? What do you think about the fact that not only that, but them supposedly scrubbing the boat, taking so long to bring that phone out when Tashima came to get it, and then I think they were likely scrubbing it. Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah.
And so also the fact, I mean, they didn't even offer up condolences. They immediately just got lawyers and all of that. I think it's very interesting.
Right. Yeah, no, it's the worst way you could handle something if you truly care about somebody, you know what I mean? Like, not one of their friends, like, you'd be distraught. You know, I could understand disabling your social media account if you're like, oh my God, I you know, you make a statement, I loved him, I can't do this, and I don't want to read the comments or something. But you would say something, you know. And then the biggest part about it, there's got to be so much video that we're not seeing. There's no way with it. Looks like there's over 100 kids there. How is there only one video that's circulating, or maybe two, where it shows Nolan, or like they say there was an altercation? Kids always film fights. Like, that's the part where so many people are hiding so much video evidence because, you know, or even his, you know, the fact that they deleted his Snapchat, the fact that they deleted messages. Like, why? Why? If you're not guilty, why delete his Snapchats? You know, it just doesn't, none of it makes sense.
Right. Okay, so
And that's why,
someone just sent me this. This is what you already showed, Sam, but I'm going to
what is
show it on
that?
the screen so everybody can see it. That post that the father made about that money thing. But here's the whole post. It says, this is from Elmore Wansley. He said, whoever sent this to my home, may the good Lord have mercy on your soul. Bold enough to send this crap, but not bold enough to list your return address. This
Yeah.
is America, where a grieving mother and father have to deal with this type of behavior because we asked a simple question of what happened to our son and accepted all the help we could get to find answers. Please go touch some grass, okay?
Yeah.
Because you are
Yeah.
clearly low vibrational.
Yeah. And that's Mississippi right there for you.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when, and that's what makes it about race, because she's black, because they're black, that's making it, they look at them about making money off of it, or they criticize them.
And then especially when Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump are in it, that's what they definitely say. They call them race hustlers and all that crap.
Yeah, and you know what's sad is like Ben Crump is the reason we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery. Remember when Ahmaud Arbery was running through a racist neighborhood, was shot with a shotgun at close range by 3 racist men who were literally hunting him down. And they were able, with the help of, again, of I forget if it was the DA or who it was, but a woman who covered for them. And it came out, and they're all 3 sitting in prison now, thank God. But Ahmaud was never going to get justice. And that was just simply a black man running through a white neighborhood, and they just came and hunted him down. And had it not been, really, Shaun King was on top of that, and Ben Crump, and I know Shaun King's kind of disappeared a little bit off the map, but I give him a lot of credit for a lot of that early activism online of bringing a lot of awareness, like with Mike Brown. And, and that's what it takes. It takes people like us to keep these stories alive and keep them in people's faces so you can get justice.
Exactly. Now, DJ The Truth TV, thank you for your for sending me that to the email, and also thanks for your contribution, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And see, here's the thing. I was just mentioning about 2 or 3 days ago about Shaun King and how people like him are not active out here in the community anymore, because what some black people have done is they have listened to the MAGA minions, those types who don't like people who look like us, who are telling us that Shaun King is not black, who's saying he's a grifter, and Shaun King had to come out and admit, even though it was none of our business, that his mother cheated on his father with a black man. And then there's proof and receipts and documentation that he absolutely is black. Okay. So our own people, some of them turned on him, and they did the same thing to Ice Cube. And that's why we don't hear from him anymore either.
And that was the racist propaganda they pushed on Shaun King, is that he wasn't black, which frankly, who cares? I'm not black, but I'm working for black rights. So what does it matter? And then they said, oh, he's making money. And I was like, I don't care if that man's a billionaire. He deserves to be a billionaire. If he's like, why aren't we mad at Elon Musk, or people who are just selling, drug companies, or we don't get mad at them for being rich. And I hope you're a rich activist. What does it matter? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. They want to paint them. They want to paint them as grifters so that we don't donate to them. That's all that is. And we don't we don't give them credit. We think that they're just out here just to make money. That's the whole thing of it all. That's what they do. They always want to say, oh, they're race hustling, rage baiting, but they don't say that about people like Officer Tatum and Candace Owens, who are absolutely out here grifting. They're saying what the racist people want to hear. So those people continue to platform them and give them money and all of that.
Yeah. The irony is they're the real race baiters. You can't be a race baiter when you're fighting for black rights or you're fighting for equality, but that's the first thing they call you. And I've been called that a lot too. People call me a self-hater. I hate white people. And it's like, I don't hate white people. I just hate racist white people. You know what I mean?
But that's the same thing I always say, Sam.
Yeah. And look, if I can make money, great. I would love to be able to do what I love, making social change, helping an underserved community, and make money. What a great way to make a living. You know what I mean? Like, why would anybody have a problem with that?
Exactly. I mean, first of all, they didn't say anything about Jeff Metcalf and Megan making money after Austin was dead and the funeral was already over and all of that. What were they still collecting GoFundMe money for?
Right.
Okay.
Somebody
and then
said in
talking
my
about they're going on
comment,
trips.
somebody said in my comments, what I'm trying to understand, there was a person screaming, "Give me my effing phone." He happens to be the one that was missing, and he's the one without his phone. Make it make sense. I mean, exactly.
Exactly. Not to mention they spoke and referred to him in past tense when the father went to get the keys, said Nolan was like a brother to me. Not to
Right.
mention
Yeah.
they lawyered up the day after, which was July the 5th. His body had not even been found yet. So why are y'all getting lawyers? Why did you call the Coast Guard? Why did they call the Coast Guard before the mother could? Why did they call the Cajun Navy? Because the guy from the Cajun
Exactly.
Navy said that they called someone reached out to them and then put them in touch with the mother. So why are
Right.
they doing all of that? First of all, if they didn't see Nolan for the rest of the day after they got home, right? First of all, they waited till 11 o'clock at night, which I think is strange. But second of all,
Right.
why would you immediately think that he was still out there on that island or possibly, drowned or something like that to be called search and rescue? Why would that be the first
Exactly.
thing that came to your mind?
And then it's funny because there was this kid, Ike Pyron, who's brothers with Wyatt. And it's funny. He's like, all you know, he said some on Snapchat saying, all you black people trying to make this about race and he's like, Nolan practically lived at our house for 3 years. And I always love this when white people think just because you have a black friend or just because, he's like, he stayed at our house, that doesn't mean you're not racist.
But at the same
They
time,
seem
what did
to
he
think
say
that
about
absolves them. White people love to do that where you have one black friend or one black coworker. And so when anybody tries to call you racist, you can be like, I'm not racist. I'm friends with Nick, and it's
but
like,
here's
that
the
doesn't
thing
mean
though.
anything. Yeah. That clip right there. Mm-hmm.
But he also said can't be listening to all these black people saying his friends did something. He was like a brother to me. Okay, the part where he says these
And he
guys
says
posting this
worthless
ish on
black people,
TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah.
worthless black people. So clearly that's a racist comment. So he can miss me with it. But listen,
Yeah.
I want to go to this comment. This clip with
Sure.
Don Lemon. Okay, doing this TikTok, or I don't know if it was a TikTok where I found it, but
Yeah.
talking to this guy about the case.
Nolan Wells. That's the big story. And look, I don't know if you realize it if you've been watching our coverage, but as soon as I got back from France on day one, I covered this. But it took mainstream media, as they say, or corporate media, a long time to catch up on this story.
Yeah, that was one of the things I want to talk to you about. Like, you were on this. So I was trying to look for early coverage of it. It was not being covered in the mainstream media, and Fox News was not covering it, where if the reverse had taken place, if it was a white guy with 3 black dudes out on a boat, we'd be in day 12 of Fox News 24/7 coverage of this story,
Yeah.
right? But you've been on this, you've had the family on, you've had Ben Crump on, you've really been going into the details of this, because really the coverage discrepancy is important because it kind of goes across different stories. There's this Nolan Wells case where obviously there's this total blackout in the early days, and then there's these killings of these Latino men by ICE, where there's coverage, but it's still not at the level of like Renee Good and Alex Preddy, right? So it's like what brings to mind to me is this need for diversity in media, because I was watching your coverage of Nolan Wells and being like, where has this been everywhere else?
Well, that was my fight when I was at CNN. And maybe they didn't like it because I always fought for these stories. And guess what? These stories always rated very well. Once they realized that we should be doing them, on the network, then they sort of got it. But, I think the powers that be, they need more diversity. Say what you want about social media. They're on top of this story. And not that I let that guide my coverage, but it gives me a gauge of where the public interest is. But this story is just so mysterious.
Again, it's because unless you've lived the experience, you don't understand the urgency of it. And that just goes to show you, man, what we've been talking about, this diversity gap. You don't have black people in the room, you're not going to get black people's stories covered, man.
Right. It's the same with our entertainment. If you look at any late night show, there, whether it's Colbert, whether it's Kimmel, whether it's Fallon, whatever, the Daily Show, it's majority white writers and they have one black writer in the room. And that's how all entertainment is, you know what I mean? And the irony is a lot of like Seth Meyers, any of these shows, they're like, oh, we're not racist, we're not this. Well, you have one black writer, and that one black writer is generally a white centric writer. So you're not even you're getting somebody who's assimilated to the culture enough where those other white people are comfortable having that person around, generally.
Exactly. I agree. Now I'm going to go to this video because listen, you guys, for those of you who follow Eric Brian Stone, so he told a story today. He's asking for our help
That's
because
crazy.
basically saying that this guy got beaten at this all-white festival. So let's go to this clip. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
I've been silent for a couple of weeks because a personal matter has happened between me and Therese and the mother right here. And one of Therese's long friends and the mother's son was at a festival with a population of 98% white here in Petoskey, right? Michigan. Now, we got the call that he had excruciating damage to his neck, as if somebody was trying to cut his head off. Now, this is graphic trigger warning. He's currently in the ICU. He's been in the ICU since Sunday. The incident happened Sunday early morning. Now, the police department, which I'm currently at, told me that they were going to handle this stuff, that they were going to be in communication with us. They have failed to do so. In fact, they said that they were going to, they don't know who we are and we could be blowing smoke up their ass. Possible before people flee and everything like that.
Sure. But at the same time, I don't know what your credentials are. I don't know if you could just be blowing a bunch of smoke.
It is now 2:09 p.m. The office closes at 4 p.m. and I'm going to show you that as well. And I told them I was going to bring the mother, and they locked the goddamn doors. Yeah. If you're not direct family, and his mother, who is direct family, told me and my girl in there to investigate.
Well, then she has to give permission for us to talk to you.
That's fine. We can do that. We've already done that, but we can do it again.
Any permission? Like, we have to get permission from her. Before that happens, we cannot give you
any so if I bring the mother right here and I tell her,
if you have her get a hold of Babcock and bring her in and talk to him,
they aren't taking care of this seriously. Now, Daryl, fantastic man.
All right, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. We got Eric Stone in the driver's seat. We got T. Gagne back there.
We need your guys' help. We need you guys to blow them the fuck up, because here we have another incident of a black man going to an all-white event, and now he's on his deathbed, and we're fighting. He's fighting in the goddamn bed, and he's getting by. So I need you guys to fight for me and fight for Therese and the mother. Please comment, send them emails, call them, do everything you got to do. We need you. I love y'all.
Yeah,
that is so sad.
I know. It's insane. And it's like,
I pray that he recovers and is back to normal. That sounds catastrophic. Like they said that it was like they tried to cut off his head.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, what I don't understand how there's not more information around that,
Yeah, it's real strange.
And then somebody said in the comments, are we sure Nolan's body was burned and bruised? I haven't heard his parents or attorney confirm that piece of info. There's the video of the two nurses who claimed that they talked to the guy who had seen his body, and that's what they said. So, I mean, right. I don't know. It's wild.
So that I've been said, we can't confirm that. That is something that someone has put out there. It's speculation. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, we're not saying any of these things are factual.
Right.
Okay, we're saying these things are speculation, and at the end of the day, we won't know the full story until the autopsy comes out. Now, what we do know is factual is that boat that they were in when they called for distress was in the same proximity or the vicinity of where Nolan's body was found 2 days later. What we do know is that, like I said earlier, what we do know is that they had his phone, didn't voluntarily give it to his mother. They had his keys, lied about it to the father. They all lawyered up, deleted their social media accounts. They did a whole bunch of things that look suspicious. And what we also know is that there's a myriad of black folk turning up dead in 2026, okay, all within the same time frame, some just months or weeks apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's crazy.
Okay, and that's just the ones I've reported on in the last week. Okay, but all of those people died from April to July. Okay? all by accidental drownings while they were out with white friends. Okay, so I'm sorry if we're all suspicious. Okay.
Right. And what is the guy's name of the guy's head who the guy's neck who was cut that we just so I can make a video?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. You'll have to go back to Eric's video. I didn't even remember
Yeah,
the
but
name.
who's the creator? Eric what?
Oh, okay. His name is Eric Brian Stone.
Brian Stone. Okay, good. Yeah, I got it.
Eric Brian Stone. Yeah, he lost his TikTok channel. It looks like he must have started a new one, but he had over 700,000 followers.
I'm sure because he like he exposes these racists and they like lose their jobs. Like he's
probably
amazing.
They probably all have been mass reporting him. Who knows? But here's the thing, Sam, I don't know if you know this, but keep this in mind because sometimes people don't like our talking points, these MAGA minions, and what they'll do is they'll false flag your channels and stuff on TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Here's the thing. If you feel like that's been done or whatever, all you have to do is get your attorney to subpoena whatever platform it's being done on, and then they can find out exactly who did it because you know they have their IP addresses. And then you can sue them. You can sue them in civil, small claims court, civil court, whatever you want to do, because false flagging your channel is absolutely nefarious.
Yeah, yeah, because I can see, like, I did a live yesterday, and I let this guy came on, and he had a video of somebody, you know, jerking off, and I was like, man, they're trying to like.
Well, he did that on purpose.
Of course, yeah, there's no doubt about that. They did it on purpose to try and get it taken down. So it was.
So what did you do? Edit your video?
Yeah, I had to go back right away and edit out.
And edit it right. See,
and edit out the guy at the very
something.
end. I was like, whoa.
I'm going to tell you something. Armand Wickens told me that when we were in New York for Diddy's trial, when we were all up there. That's what he said. Because I told him when the trolls talk trash, I'll drop the link so they can get on here. And he said he doesn't do that because they'll do stuff like that. It's exactly what he said. Or they'll say something outlandish to try to get your video taken down.
Yeah, and that's why I realized I have to like kind of clear somebody in the comments to be like, hey, I'm a real person and I actually want to add to the conversation. I'm not gonna come on and try and destroy your channel. But I do have to get going, Queen. I gotta
I'm about to close out, beloved.
Yeah, no worries. Just to let you know.
Conclude. Okay, so listen, you guys, tomorrow morning I'm gonna be back because we have to talk about Carmelo. Okay, interesting updates on Carmelo's case. And also for the people that are hating on Ben Crump, here's the thing. Ben Crump sent one of his lawyers, like I keep saying, sent one of his lawyers to work on the pro bono case, the appeal for Carmelo Anthony. So I'm sorry. People can sit there and say that man's all about money, but even if he is, okay, shouldn't he make money? He's a lawyer. He went to school for it. And any lawyer wants to make money, okay? Even if they're doing something for their community or they're doing something to help families get justice, they still deserve to make money. Like, this is so stupid to me that people want to pocket watch when it's somebody they just don't like.
Well, they're not mad at the lawyers trying to get Harvey Weinstein off or the lawyers trying to get the Abercrombie and Fitch CEOs off or get Diddy off or whoever it may be, but they oddly only get mad at like somebody who's actually doing good. You know what I mean? Like, so who cares? I hope Ben Crump is a very, very wealthy man because that will afford him to be able to grow his business even bigger and have more like-minded lawyers like himself that can help fight this stuff. It makes, and also that's just racism being passed into the narrative to try and discredit these, you know, these activists, you know, we need Ben Crump. It's crazy.
We certainly do. And half of these people that look like me that are saying this, black folk, at the end of the day, if they found themselves in a similar or same situation, they would absolutely call Ben Crump. Because they already know that Ben Crump will get you paid. And like Officer Tatum said, which I thought was so interesting because he proved my point, Officer Tatum literally said that he can't get justice in the criminal system because he is a civil rights attorney. All he can do is help you to get a civil settlement. Well, that's what I've been telling people. When for the black people who complain and say, oh, he doesn't get justice, he's not there to get justice. He's there to get your stories out there so you can get more light shown on it, and then hopefully you can get justice. But in the meantime, yes, get monetary compensation. And here's the thing, for anyone that says, oh, justice isn't the same as monetary compensation, we already know that. But for all of us who want reparations that we feel like they owe us, okay, because they stole us, they sold us, and now they owe us. So we want reparations, right? But is reparations justice for our ancestors? No, it isn't. They still did what they did. We're still traumatized by it. We're still living the effects of it in 2026. So even if we get reparations, that still isn't justice. So what's the difference? That's my point.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. And also too, just so everybody in my comments, follow QueenAShakur. Some people were asking how they can follow you, Queen, on my end. So why don't you just give everybody your handle just so they can have that?
Yes, thank you. It's the original Queen Shakur show. The original Queen Shakur. Okay. So and also I'm on TikTok at Dr. Shakur. Now, with that, I've been saying, thank you, Sam. It's always a pleasure. We'll have to do this again. Absolutely.
I know, we're the Diddy homies. Yep, we're the ones attacked by that homeless dude, John. You know, that was when we really, bonded.
Exactly. Okay, I told y'all, me and Sam had each other's backs. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy thought he was.
Yeah, we did. We filed our police reports and everything and got him banned from the court building in New York. You know.
That's right. Exactly. Okay. As he needed to be. Okay. So while other people whose names I won't mention, #wig2, okay, was still trying to use him as a person, as a, what do you call it? The line sitter, right? And then when someone was telling her, and when someone was telling her what he did to us, and then telling her that he also threatened to grape 3 women like a few days before.
Right.
And that was what but still you still tried to use it. Okay, please miss me with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, everybody's saying thank you, Sam. All right, so listen, beloveds, listen, everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel, follow Sam and subscribe to him as well. And also, don't forget that I'll be back in the morning, okay? Probably about 10 o'clock, I'm thinking. And so with that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Amen.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got